This is CNN.
The hunt is on for two suspects in what appears to be a deadly cross-country road trip.
Judge Lancito faces a tough decision concerning the O.J. Simpson jury.
The rafters keep coming while the United States and Cuba keep talking.
And a soggy president kicks off the 1994 campaign season. Hello, thanks for joining us on this Labor Day. This is NewsDay. I'm Natalie Allen.
I'm Lou Waters. Here's what's happening. Federal, state, and local investigators say they may have a pair of young cross-country killers on the loose. At least 3 people are dead. Another is missing. The latest victim, an Oklahoma woman whose body was found yesterday near Oklahoma City. Her car was gone. But another vehicle with Missouri license plates was found nearby, and that car is linked to other crimes. Investigators believe the Oklahoma killing is part of a crime spree that began last week in Port Washington, Ohio, moved on to Fulton, Missouri, and then to Oklahoma. They say it appears 23-year-old Lewis Gilbert and a 16-year-old accomplice are killing people, stealing their cars, and driving until they find another victim. Earlier today, federal and local authorities in Cleveland told reporters they believe the suspects are heading west toward California. Joining us on the line now from Cleveland is FBI spokesman Pat Cunningham. Mr. Cunningham, in the interest of public safety, can you tell us what folks in this general direction, this southwestern direction that they apparently are traveling in, have to watch out for? Any precautions need to be taken?
Well, at the present time, the vehicle that we believe that these two may have is a 1991 Dodge half-ton pickup truck, which is silver and gray in color, and it has an Oklahoma license plate of PEX 711. And the biggest precaution would be that if anybody sees this vehicle, to immediately contact the local authorities and let them know these individuals are considered to be very dangerous.
Have you developed a profile of this crime? What's happening here? As I understand it, this 16-year-old was awaiting trial on a break-in charge. Gilbert served some time, as I understand, for grand theft auto. This is a very violent crime spree we're talking about here. Yes, it is. There's no question about that. At the present time, we have not. Our biggest concern right now is their present whereabouts and trying to locate these individuals. So we're looking for a half-ton pickup truck now, but what about their method of operation? Don't they drive for a while and then toss off the vehicle and grab another one? Well, that has been the way they seem to have been getting around, to go along for a period of time, and at what point we're not sure why they drop the vehicles that they do and select other vehicles. But that has been their modus operandi, is to go for a period of time and at some point stop, select a new vehicle and steal that, and we believe that they're the ones involved in murdering the owners of those cars and going on from there. Can you tell us where they're headed? The only thing we know right now is that they're headed in generally a westerly direction. Specifically, we do not know. All right, Pat Cunningham, do I have it correct now? 1991 half-ton pickup truck, PEX 711. Yes, sir. It's a Dodge half-ton pickup. Dodge. Got it. Correct. Thanks.
Thank
FBI
you.
agent Pat Cunningham on the line. Natalie?
Talks aimed at halting the Cuban exodus to the United States are underway in New York. U.S. and Cuban negotiators arrived at the United Nations about 1 hour ago. The U.S. has proposed increasing the number of legal Cuban immigrants to 20,000 each year. Sources within the Cuban mission tell CNN Cuba would accept the proposal if the agreement addresses the need for future talks on lifting the U.S. economic blockade of Cuba. The U.S. Coast Guard, meantime, has picked up 134 Cuban refugees today in the Florida Straits. For more on that part of the story, here's Susan Candiotti. She's in Key West. Susan.
Natalie, Cubans continue to flee by the hundreds. However, they're... Have to pause for that U.S. Coast Guard cutter behind us. However, their exodus is stopped short by the United States Coast Guard, often just 20 to 30 miles off the Cuban coast. However, here in Key West, tourism officials say that despite those media reports to the contrary, Some people actually think that Cuban raptors are arriving here in Key West, and as a result are changing their travel plans. Well, despite that mistaken perception, some hotels are reporting cancellations, which is especially bad because it's normally busy this Labor Day weekend. But how much is the Cuban exodus actually contributing to a downtrend in tourism business? Well, here's the director of the Key West Chamber of Commerce.
I think between the international visitors not being here, between the economics in general, that people are hanging on to their wallets and not spending as much. And with this also Cuban crisis, the crime in Miami, it's all compounded, and now we're feeling it, along with the recession.
So how much of it do you think has to do with the refugee crisis, among all those factors that you stated?
I would say very little. Very little has to do with the Cuban refugee crisis.
Traditionally, tourism here in the Florida Keys is slow in August and September. Some hotels say that because of that continuing mistaken perception by some that their bookings were down as much as 15 to 30% this busy Labor Day weekend. However, when CNN contacted some of those hotels over the weekend, we were told that they were booked solid. Well, the bottom line here is that the Cubans keep on coming, but they are not, repeat, not coming to Key West. Susan Candiotti reporting live in Key West, Florida.
All right, Susan, an amazing story of survival from Canada. 26-year-old Sharon McClellan plunged nearly 10,000 feet with a malfunctioning parachute, and she walked away from it. McClellan was on her second skydive ever Saturday, her first free fall. When her parachute only partially opened, she had a free fall all right, a frantic free fall. She landed on her back in a marsh, got up, apologized to her instructor for failing to pull her emergency chute. The partially opened chute slowed her descent and ultimately saved her life. As for her good fortune, she says God was watching over her, I should say.
Yikes, that's why I just
Bruises.
don't...
She got bruises.
She got bruises.
Yikes.
She's okay. Would you do that, Flip?
No.
All right,
Kid,
good.
what? I don't even go out when the weather's bad. Listen, speaking of the weather being bad, there's not a lot of bad weather around today, but there are some places where there's some showers and thunderstorms as a cold front is dropping to the south. Take a look at this regional radar that we have for you to show you the travel conditions just to the southeast of Oklahoma City, a line of heavy thunderstorms. Now, I know I'm reaching on this to find anything very bad, but that's really about the worst of what we have out there. This is not all of it, but we want to point out that Interstate 40 has quite a bit of rainfall from St. Louis all the way down through Oklahoma, and you can see the line of heavy thunderstorms in here. That is certainly not the only place in the country. That is see, that area that we were looking at was right here. But that's connected to all of this rainfall that is along a cold front moving to the south. And if you're going to be traveling through this area today, and this is moving to the south as we go throughout the day, but if your late Labor Day plans call for you to travel through this area to get back home late tonight, you might want to leave early, allow yourself some extra time. Because although it's certainly not bad weather, I do think more thunderstorms will be prevalent as the afternoon goes along, and it's certainly going to be raining throughout this area. There is little doubt about that. Additionally, there is a strong low pressure center off the northeastern coast up here, and you may have seen the president's speech earlier today. You can see the driving rain that was up there, very windy conditions. But where it's not raining, it turns sunny very, very quickly. It's a very small and isolated area that's affected by this. This isn't moving at all. They're going to have a problem with that again tomorrow. We'll have more weather coming up a little bit later in the hour, but right now back to Natalie.
In Cairo, Egypt, 15,000 delegates and activists from more than 150 countries are talking about sensitive issues like abortion, birth control, and sex education. They're attending a UN-sponsored population conference seeking ways to control the world's population growth. Vice President Al Gore, still on crutches from a basketball injury, is leading the U.S. delegation. In his address today, he emphasized White House support for legal abortion, but he also sought to reassure critics the U.S. will not try to impose its values on other nations.
Views about abortion are as diverse among nations as among individuals. I want to be clear about the U.S. position on abortion so that there is no misunderstanding. We believe that making available the highest quality family planning and health care services will simultaneously respect women's own desires to prevent unintended pregnancies, reduce population growth, and the rate of abortion and the incidence of unsafe abortions.
The world's population is currently 5.66 billion and is growing at 250,000 per day. Conference delegates want to draw up a program to slow that rate.
Politicians often consider Labor Day the kickoff of the campaign season. Today was no different. President Clinton took some time off from his Martha's Vineyard vacation today to deliver a campaign-style speech in Maine. He told a crowd at the Bath Iron Works that Bath is a symbol of how workers and management can work together for the common good. But he and Senate Majority Leader George Mitchell of Maine also harkened back to one of the major themes of the 1992 campaign, the need for change.
Our administration has fought for change against some very, very powerful enemies of change, against people who often don't seem to understand what the stakes are, because that's what I want for you and your families and your children.
All human beings fear change because they fear uncertainty. But we know that change is coming, whether we like it or not, and what we need are leaders who have the vision and the strength to harness that change to the benefit of the people.
Senator Mitchell is retiring, as you know, and the Democrats now are afraid the Republicans might win Mitchell's seat. Opinion polls show the Democratic Congressman Tom Andrews is running behind the Republican Congresswoman Olympia Snowe for the seat. And in a year, when some Democratic candidates are disassociating themselves from the president, some folks in Maine are wondering how much Mr. Clinton's visit today will help Mr. Andrews.
Barbara Bush has a new book out, and it offers a glimpse of life with the former president. It also offers tidbits about other people, including her successor. Mrs. Bush writes that Hillary Rodham Clinton seems stronger than President Clinton, which she predicts will cause problems for the president. She says she's afraid fingers will be pointed at Hillary when problems arise. Mrs. Bush defends her husband George at every turn and writes bitterly about those who criticized him. But she acknowledges she disagreed with him on two issues. She supports legal abortion and opposes sale of assault weapons.
CNN's Campaign USA 94 is brought to you by Realty World. For help with all your real estate needs, call the Realty World office nearest you today.
Sharon wanted to know how much she could get for her house, how much of that she could keep, and how long it would take to sell. I told her I'm a real estate agent, not a fortune teller. But with the Real Action marketing plan, I could give her pretty good estimates of all of that, plus tell her exactly what I was doing and when, every step of the way, in writing. With Real Action, she knew that I knew how to sell her home. And I did.
The right agent makes all the difference in the world. Realty World.
Ah, yes, the guinea pig. When a new car comes out, nobody wants to be one. This past year, a number of pioneering souls bought the new Chrysler Concorde. Did they make the right decision? Among 129 new models sold, the Concorde was in the top 10 in owner satisfaction, along with Lexus and Mercedes, proving that sometimes good things come to those who don't wait. The Chrysler Concorde, an eloquent expression of form following function.
Do you have any idea what we're doing?
I think we're here to tell you we're coming back with more news in just a moment. Some say it's mission impossible finding a jury for the O.J. Simpson trial. We'll talk with an expert about just how difficult it may be.
Thanks, Natalie. Also had food for thought for pregnant women. It's the latest advice on keeping morning sickness to a minimum. All ahead.
For the next 15 seconds, try to forget that more people choose quality Eckert photo processing. Instead, try to figure out why so few people trust their pictures to all those other places. Eckert's buyback photo processing guarantee means you'll never have to pay for photos you don't like. Unless, of course, you make the mistake of taking your film someplace else.
Hi, I'm Jim Palmer. If you haven't refinanced your home yet, it's not too late. Before rates go any higher, call the money store. You can still save money by refinancing your first mortgage at the money store, even if your credit isn't perfect. You can apply by phone, there's no application fee, and usually get some extra cash. Remember, there's still time to refinance even if your credit isn't perfect. But don't wait. Everyone believes rates are going up. Call the money store at 1-800-LOAN-YES.
Jury selection in the O.J. Simpson case is to begin 3 weeks from today. Prosecutors have filed a motion requesting the jury be sequestered, which in essence keeps jurors away from publicity surrounding the trial. Addressing the high-profile nature of the case, prosecutors argue in the motion that more people watched portions of Simpson's police chase than watched this year's Super Bowl. Joining us to talk about the selection of jurors in the case is jury consultant Cynthia Cohen. Cynthia, thanks for being with us.
Oh, you're welcome.
You work with lawyers a lot. You're a psychologist, right?
Yes, I am.
So you work with lawyers and helping them to figure out how to select the best jury for them. Are you helping them look for an objective jury or a jury that's going to help them deliver the verdict they want?
Well, you want to help them find a jury that's going to help understand the case in the best way that they're going to present the case.
In this particular case, the O.J. Simpson story, do you see anything spectacular about trying to find an impartial jury in this case than others?
Well, I think yes. I think you've seen some unprecedented coverage, and so I think it is going to be a little bit more difficult because people are going to have some preconceived notions about what the case is about. Now, whether they're correct in those preconceived notions or not remains to be seen because we're not quite sure what all the evidence in the case is going to be.
So how do the lawyers go about searching for the right juror in the presentation of their questions? Give us a sample of what those questions would be like and what they're hunting for and trying to find out something about this prospective juror.
Well, to be successful in jury selection, trial attorneys need to look at the underlying attitudes and the abilities of jurors and what their perceptions and what their knowledge about the case is. A couple of the things that they might want to look at is their tolerance for violence, because they're going to be looking at photos that we haven't seen yet. And they're also going to need to look at their statistical comprehension, because you're going to have a lot of evidence in the DNA, and how are they going to evaluate that evidence? Those are some of the things that we look at.
So statistical comprehension, how does a lawyer question or a judge question a juror to find out about that?
Well, they might measure some of their background and their comfort level in evaluating research or evaluating statistics, how comfortable they are in interpreting statistics, how comfortable they are in math, what they believe when they hear statistics. Do they objectively look at those statistics, or do they take them at face value?
Well, give us some of the questions that you find interesting that someone might ask of a prospective juror. I know that some trials I've heard before, they ask them, what kind of magazines do you subscribe to? What type of things do you think might be interesting that they would ask?
Well, you do want to look at their habits and their experiences. So their habits, you might want to look at what kind of sports magazines they read. You might want to look at their experiences in travel and how they prepare for travel, and as far as waiting on the limousine, comfort zones and preparing for travel. Some people, who don't travel as much may not be as concerned with waiting for a limousine. So I guess there's some different attitudes toward the rich and famous, and there might be some attitudes about spousal abuse.
Well, the fact that the prosecution has now filed a motion last Friday to have the jury sequestered. Earlier, we had an attorney on CNN who thought that that was going to make it much more difficult to find a jury. Do you agree with that?
Yes, it does make it difficult. You really tend to eliminate single parents who have sole custody of their children. A lot of times you're going to have people who would be able to be on such a long trial but not be sequestered. But you really are looking at some specific variables anyway. Anyone who's going to be able to be on this trial is going to be in a special population anyway because of the length of the trial. Although in Los Angeles, you have a lot of people who are unmarried and do not have family obligations, so it might be somewhat of a vacation for them to be in this setting away from other responsibilities.
Reports that the prosecution set up a mock jury last week and that jury failed to convict. Any evidence that real juries reflect what mock juries might do?
Well, a sophisticated jury consultant does lots of different things, and I believe what I've heard about this case was that they were focus groups and not a mock trial. You didn't have both sides presenting the case. And what we do when we do a focus group or when we do set up case scenario research, we're looking to see what the worst case scenario is so that we can find what the weaknesses in the case are. So whereas we may have the worst case scenario and we didn't have all the evidence that would be in the case, this may not be indicative of what a true jury would be. It's just giving the prosecution some information about what perceptions are at this time.
Cynthia Cohen, jury consultant and psychologist. Thanks for being with us.
You're welcome.
Lou.
And coming up here on Newsday, we'll be telling you about unusual programs for teenagers. Programs designed to turn around a lifetime of low self-esteem.
We needed some help finding the right mutual fund.
The investment section.
So we tried the library.
Anything in particular?
Yeah, mutual funds.
But there was so much to go through, it only made things worse. We need information, but in a form we can use.
You gotta be kidding.
With so many mutual funds today, it's hard to know where to turn. That's why Fidelity Investments, America's largest mutual fund company, created Fund Match, a program that helps you choose mutual funds to match your needs.
I saw your ad in the paper.
Another CD was maturing.
Yes, I'm wondering if you could send me some.
So we did our homework and called for information on several mutual funds. We're willing to put in time and effort.
See if we can figure that thing out.
Who writes this stuff?
Yeah, look at this.
But there has to be an easier way.
To help you choose a mix of mutual funds that may be right for you, Fidelity has the free Fund Match Kit. You'll receive a step-by-step worksheet that helps you develop a personal plan, plus an easy-to-use workbook that explains the importance of diversification. So call Fidelity today for your free Fund Match Kit. Call 1-800-643-8585.
Hello everyone, I'm Bill Tush, and coming up in just a bit in our entertainment news update, last year the dynamite success of Jurassic Park had Hollywood feeling T-Rexcellent. Well, this year the folks in Tinseltown are smiling about the roaring success of The Lion King and a number of other films that have created a boom at the box office. Stay tuned for Summer Box Office Review coming up. Also, most folks know that President Clinton can toot his own horn on the saxophone, but can half-brother Roger Clinton make it as a rock and roller? We'll try to answer that question when Newsday continues after these messages.
We just weren't hungry, dear. Well, I'll make cappuccino.
Cappuccino? They don't have a rug, but they have a cappuccino machine. Honey, what's going on? Maxwell House Cappuccino. Delicious.
I'll help with the dishes. Oh, that's okay. We have a dishwasher, too.
Maxwell House Cappuccino. The magic without the machine.
Is the gray in your mustache or beard making you look too old? Now there's Just for Men Brush-In Color Gel, specially for the hard-to-color hair of mustaches and beards. This brush-in gel stays put to penetrate hard-to-color hair. In 5 minutes, rinse. Your mustache or beard blends with your natural hair color, and it won't fade or wash out.
Now that's a lot better.
Just for Men Color Gel, from the leader in men's hair coloring.
People are discovering something highly irregular.
That's odd.
What is it, Mark Wrong?
I don't know.
About the price of Metamucil. Same effective natural fiber for regularity at a surprisingly lower price.
Let's get two.
Yeah.
Metamucil, the natural choice for regularity.
Tonight in the Crossfire. It was the movie sensation of the summer, but does it go beyond that? Forrest Gump, an icon of the radical 60s, or a closet conservative? Buchanan, Kinsley, Crossfire, tonight 7:30 Eastern on CNN.
Well, have you seen all your summer movies?
I can't believe it's Labor Day.
It's the end
I'd put a few off, you know, till the end of summer, but summer's magically somehow over with now.
Well, you can rent them in a few months.
Okay.
It'd be cheaper. Here's the Bill Tush with Showbiz News in New York. Bill.
Alrighty, thank you, Lou and Natalie. Although the summer movie season doesn't officially end till later tonight, the movie industry has reason to break out the champagne a little bit early in celebration of a record-breaking summer. Hollywood sold more than $2 billion worth of tickets this summer as a Disney animated feature led a pack of box office winners.
This'll all be mine?
Everything the light touches.
The tale of a lion cub who grows up to become king of the jungle continues to rule at the box office with an estimated summer take of $257 million in ticket sales. From the jungle to the forest, Forrest Gump, the story of a man with more luck than IQ, could be the biggest surprise of the summer. The film starring Tom Hanks has earned an estimated $222 million at the box office so far this summer. Along with these two films, 3 other releases have already broken the $100 million mark. They include The Flintstones, True Lies, and Speed. And while the folks in Hollywood are dancing to the cash register ring, the music world prepares for the release of Roger Clinton's first album. The half-brother of the most prominent man in the world wants to rock the world with his own brand of rhythm and blues. Paul Verkaman talked with Roger Clinton about his new album that's due out in record stores later this month.
Many Americans first heard of and heard President Clinton's half-brother Roger
Doesn't anybody care about the pain?
During the 1992 Democratic National Convention. Now Roger Clinton hopes music fans will lend him their ears with the upcoming release of his first record. Clinton describes his sound as pop rock with rhythm and blues roots.
The base of it is certainly R&B, but I branch off with a little Caribbean feel in several songs, a little bit bluesier feel in several songs.
She was just another stranger.
Never mind the blues, Roger is feeling upbeat. He's kicked a cocaine problem that once landed him in jail, is now married and a new father. At one of his favorite haunts, Hollywood's House of Blues, he talked candidly about being scrutinized and the deal with Pyramid Atlantic Records. Well, what do you say to those critics who say the only reason Roger Clinton got this record deal is because he's the president's brother?
Well, I say that's not true. You know, in my heart, I know that, that's not the only reason. I certainly like to think that my talent and my ability and my hard work over the years had a lot to do with it. But on the other hand, I'm not so naive to think that the fact that my brother's being president didn't open a lot of doors.
Is it tough being the president's brother?
Well, yeah, it has its tough points, but, you know, I sort of look at it this way. It's tough being the president's brother, but it's easy being Bill Clinton's brother.
How do you react when some of these critics say he's another Billy Carter?
Well, I just tell them I'm not, you know, and I hope that my actions speak for themselves, you know. It's been many years since I've done anything, you know, really bad and just outrageous, and I'm not going to start again now. I'm not going to jeopardize my brother or compromise my brother's situation or mine.
With a special kind of feeling that comes from deep inside.
Roger Clinton wrote 2 of the 10 songs on the record, Nothing Good Comes Easy. He calls it a tribute to his mother and brother.
I just remembered my mother always telling us both, it won't always be this way, sons. If you follow your dream and you keep working hard, you know, because nothing good comes easy. And it just, you know, it stuck with me.
What also stuck, the early passion for music Roger Clinton shared with a famous sax player.
He and I would sing to the radio and sing to stuff like The Seekers. You remember The Seekers? We'll build a world of our own. We used to sing that together.
Now Roger Clinton will sing alone and try to prove he has his own range of talents.
Oh, brother, brother.
Paul Verkaman, CNN Entertainment News, Hollywood.
That's all for now, but please join us later today for a special Labor Day look at what's coming up on the small screen this fall. We'll preview network and cable TV's hottest new offerings and check out some new twists to some old favorites. That's on Showbiz Today at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, 2:30 Pacific, right here on CNN. That's the latest from New York at this hour. I'm Bill Tush, and now let's go back to Lou and Natalie in Atlanta.
All right, Bill, and still ahead here on Newsday, the ups and downs in the toilet seat battle. There now may be a compromise that men and women can appreciate.
Thank goodness for that.
And then we have sports.
Yeah, don't you love it?
Go ahead, throw it to me any way I want, huh?
Go ahead, take it, Tom.
All right, well, just ahead, turning for home as the second week begins at the U.S. Open, and we'll take a whirl around the NFL. Some of the best from Sunday's games. All that coming right up as soon as we figure out the toilet seat thing.
Tonight in the Crossfire, Forrest Gump, closet conservative or a 60s icon. Looking beyond the silver screen. Crossfire, tonight, 7:30 Eastern on CNN.
This is a commercial for business people from Court Office Furniture Rental. So why aren't we showing you office furniture? Because we just wanted you to experience the peace of mind that comes when you don't have to worry about that part of your business.
Court Furniture Rental, with locations in Boston, Brighton, Framingham, and Burlington.
Nature. It has the power to nourish, renew, and protect. That's why Freeman Beautiful Bath Treatments are inspired by everything natural. So Freeman can help keep your skin healthy, smooth, and naturally beautiful. I'm Larry Freeman. And I'm Mark Freeman. And that's a promise from our family to yours. Freeman Beautiful Bath Treatments. From the beauty of nature comes beautiful skin, naturally.
This is CNN.
Here's a look at the hour's top stories. The military hospital ship Comfort is en route to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba from Baltimore. The ship will serve as a clinic for Cuban refugees. The U.S. Coast Guard has picked up at least 134 more Cubans at sea today. U.S. and Cuba talks on ending the exodus are underway again today in New York. Federal, state, and local authorities are searching for 2 suspects in a series of cross-country killings and car thefts. The latest victim, a woman whose body was found yesterday near Oklahoma City. The FBI has identified the suspects as 23-year-old Lewis Gilbert and 16-year-old Eric Elliott. Investigators believe Gilbert and Elliott steal vehicles, kill their owners, and then drive until they find another victim. They say the crime spree began in Port Washington, Ohio, moved to Fulton, Missouri, and then to Oklahoma City.
Now let's get a check of the day's business news. Myron Candell joins us in New York.
Well, thanks, Lou. Oil prices fell sharply today in London amid signs that a strike by Nigerian oil workers is collapsing. The 2-month-old walkout protested the jailing of a candidate believed to have won last year's annulled presidential election. Brent North Sea crude lost 37 cents a barrel in London at $15.93. There's no oil trading in New York today. In fact, nothing is trading on Wall Street. U.S. financial markets closed for the Labor Day holiday. Overseas stock markets were open and results were mixed. In London, the Financial Times 100 index rose nearly 18 points, really nearly 19 points, about 0.5% of its value. The DAX index in Frankfurt fell 30 points, a decline of more than 1%. In Zurich, the SMI barely budged, up 2.5 points. Japanese stocks, though, fell sharply. The Nikkei falling 244 points, more than 1% of its value. And that's business news for now. I'm Myron Candell in New York.
Thanks, Mike. In case you hadn't noticed, there is no Major League Baseball today, of course, because of the players' strike. It is the first Labor Day ever without baseball, a point that was not lost today on the president, who made one more plea for the games to resume.
You know, if George had been commissioner of baseball, they'd be back playing again now. And I might say on this Labor Day, there's still time for them to go back to work and finish the best baseball season in 50 years, and I hope they will.
George was a reference to George Mitchell, who's retiring from the United States Senate, who was often mentioned as a possible commissioner of baseball. The president was appearing at a Labor Day rally in behalf of a candidate who is going to succeed George Mitchell if he gets elected. He's trailing in the polls behind Republican Olympia Snowe right now.
Well, back to the strike, yes, we should say, don't hold your breath, Mr. President.
That's right. You know, I swore I wouldn't mention the S word in this, so I'm not going to.
Just don't do it.
No, we're not talking about it. When there is progress, we will, of course, be the first to tell you all about it. In the meantime, there's a lot of good football to talk about. You may recall the NFL tweaked the game of football during the offseason a bit with a few new rules designed to allow the offense to have more freedom and, in general, generate more offense. So far, scoring is up 10% over last year's opening Sunday. So if it isn't singed defensive players you like, then don't watch. Here we go. Indianapolis Colts off to an unbelievable start. Their top pick, Marshall Faulk, ran for 143 yards, 3 touchdowns as they rocked the Houston Oilers. Meantime, Miami and New England, what an air show this was. Drew Bledsoe against Dan Marino. Marino threw 5 touchdown passes and threw for almost 500 yards, 3 to Irving Fryer. They hold on and win 39-35. Cleveland at Cincinnati. The Browns used superb special teams to overtake the Bengals. This is Randy Baldwin running through some very shoddy tackling. Somebody bring this guy down. He's on his way, 85 yards with the kickoff. A little later, Eric Metcalf added a 92-yard punt return, and the Browns took care of David Chula's guys 28-20. Meantime, look at this. This is Dave Meggett of the New York Giants, better known as a punt returner. And yes, he ripped a punt off 68 yards for a score, but he also ran in there for a touchdown right up the middle. Giants won. Now, Jets and Bills, what a shock this was in Rich Stadium. The Jets pummeled the Bills in their home field, 23-20. Boomer Esiason, Johnny Mitchell hooking up there. That set up 1 touchdown, and Jim Kelly had this happening all day. Jets in his face for Jets new coach Pete Carroll. A first win. He's 1-0 now.
It's a very important stepping stone for this organization to come up here and win. The elated feelings that we're having now will be all discarded if we don't win next week. That's the way it is in the NFL. Every game is analyzed and scrutinized, and you just hope that you come out and play well next week and win next week.
It's day 8 at the U.S. Open Tennis Championships, but the first of the crucial second week when the championship will be decided. And unless there's an incredible turn of events, chances are defending champ Steffi Graf will be in it right to the end. Today, Steffi needed just 53 minutes to dismiss former Wimbledon finalist Zina Garrison-Jackson. The first set blitz took just 21 minutes. The second set was a bit more of a battle. Steffi eases into the quarterfinals. She's made the final 8 in 31 of the last 32 Grand Slams. Also today, Jana Novotná wins easily in straight sets, and 11-seed Amanda Koetser had her way with Mana Endo, 3 in love. Her reward for that, a quarterfinal date with Steffi Graf. Today's feature match pits 6-seed Michael Chang against longtime rival and unseeded player Andre Agassi in what figures to be a long one. Two-time Open champ Stefan Edberg still trying to figure out what happened last night. Hammered by up-and-coming Swede Jonas Bjorkman. Stefan hurt his wrist on that play, but that really wasn't the story. He came back and played, but he had no luck. Bjorkman had everything going. Edberg said it was Christmas for his countrymen, and indeed it was. 6-4, 6-4, and a bagel. 6-love in the third set. Stefan is out, and Jonas Bjorkman is on his way. For highlights from the Chang-Agassi match and the whole Labor Day Monday rundown from the world of sports, don't forget Sports Tonight, 11 p.m. Eastern, the season debut of In Case You Missed It, Fred Hickman's whimsical romp around the NFL. More news right after this.
I'm Chris Everett.
I could be Chris, too. I'm Chris. Just call me Chris. I can serve like Chris.
Come on, you don't have to play tennis like I do to join the USTA. You just have to love tennis. Sure, the USTA puts on the US Open, but we also help organize thousands of other events nationwide and support the game for everyone. I've been a member since I was a little girl. Members can play on league teams and get great benefits, like an early shot at tickets for the U.S. Open.
To join America's Tennis Club, call 1-800-896-USTA. Call now and your special membership includes this 1994 U.S. Open t-shirt, a membership exclusive.
The USTA, America's Tennis Club.
How long will it take you to save up the necessary down payment to lease a Lexus LS? That should do it. Introducing the LS Custom Tailored Lease. 0 down and $5.99 per month for 36 months. 0 in on an LS. At your Lexus dealer today.
Smart people go to the Labor Day sale at Sears and save. Take this 4-cycle Whirlpool washer and matching dryer. Your choice, $219 each. So, who's smarter? She went to Sears. He won the Nobel Prize. It's too close to call.
V8, it tastes like,
very good.
tasty, very vegetable-y.
A union of vegetables.
V8's got more flavor than tomato juice. It's different.
It tastes like...
V8.
The Giants and the Cardinals can't wait to test each other to see what Buddy Ryan's got up his sleeve. The Giants, the Cardinals, Sunday night at 8 Eastern, right after the stadium show at 7:30 on TNT.
As I mentioned earlier, a population conference began in Cairo today, and one topic being talked about is equal education for girls and boys. Studies show when women are educated, more pregnancies are delayed. CNN medical correspondent Rhonda Rowland looks at programs aimed at empowering young women so they can make good choices.
Nyoka Canister, Catherine Sullivan. They're both teen mothers, unmarried, without high school diplomas. Bye-bye. They're the kind of women many in society write off, uneducated and ill-equipped to support themselves, let alone a child.
Give me a kiss. Bye-bye. Give me a hug. You be good, okay?
They're part of an epidemic in the United States. About 500,000 teenagers become mothers each year.
I didn't expect to be a mother at this age. It wasn't planned or anything. It just happened. I didn't protect myself.
It's just a carelessness on my part, and I mean, I take responsibility for that.
Both want to defy the stereotype. They intend to graduate from high school and dream of careers in healthcare. To do that, they're getting some help from the Alta Bates Medical Center's mentoring program. The first step toward empowerment is daycare. A woman named Alta Bates built this hospital in 1905 for women and infants. At the same time, as a single parent, she raised 2 adopted children. Today, through Alta Bates, teenage mothers are being empowered.
Morning. How are you? Good.
When they're not in school, they're off to work under the supervision of a mentor. They learn job skills and get paid. Nyoka just moved from an apartment she shared with 7 people. She slept on the floor, her daughter on a chair.
I need to take your weight.
She had no role models and no concept of a work ethic.
Initially, I think she really didn't understand the importance of being to work on time, and was somewhat nonchalant about, coming to work at the designated time.
I want it to give them self-esteem. I believe that it does. I want them to feel self-empowered, to say, I want to go to school. I want to learn how to finish my education.
Dr. Lori Zabin doesn't believe mentoring programs can turn around a lifetime that has fostered a lack of self-esteem.
But to return them then to exactly the environment that took away their self-esteem in the first place, and to think that you've inoculated them in some way against everything cruel that the society's doing for them, that does not seem to me to be a long-term solution.
The Alta Bates mentoring program is 4 years old and has mentored 73 teens. So far, 51 graduated from high school and 39 went on to college. 6 were given job offers by Alta Bates, including Nyoka Canister.
I never had a real job before, so this is really, it really made me feel good.
Now she wants to be a role model for her daughter.
I want her to see her mother with a nice job, independent.
What does she mean to you?
The world.
But she doesn't recommend motherhood to other teens.
Give me a kiss. Mwah. If you can prevent having a child at a young age, you should, because you have to work extra hard. Don't have one when you're not comfortable and settled. It's not a picnic.
Rhonda Rowland, CNN, Berkeley, California.
News from Medicine is brought to you by Excedrin PM. When you've got a nighttime headache and can't sleep, aspirin-free Excedrin PM, the nighttime headache medicine.
It's nighttime. You've got a headache and can't sleep. You would take a nighttime medicine, but you're worried. Why? This is aspirin-free and gently helps you to sleep. This is the only one that's treated nighttime headaches and sleeplessness over 200 million times. Aspirin-free Excedrin PM, the only one made by Excedrin, the headache medicine. This is the PM medicine for headaches from Excedrin. aspirin-free Excedrin PM.
It's a no-nonsense way to start your day.
You can get all the news.
And still catch the 805.
It seems more and more people are beginning their mornings at daybreak.
Black coffee and CNN. It's my first choice.
Daybreak, weekdays on CNN.
It's 100% news.
We needed some help finding the right mutual fund.
The investment section.
So we tried the library.
Anything in particular?
Yeah, mutual funds.
But there was so much to go through, it only made things worse. We need information, but in a form we can use.
You gotta be kidding.
With so many mutual funds today, it's hard to know where to turn. That's why Fidelity Investments, America's largest mutual fund company, created Fund Match, a program that helps you choose mutual funds to match your needs.
I saw your ad in the paper. Another CD was maturing.
Yes, I'm wondering if you could send me some.
So we did our homework and called for information on several mutual funds. We're willing to put in time and effort. See if we can figure that thing out.
Who writes this stuff?
Yeah, look at this. But there has to be an easier way.
To help you choose a mix of mutual funds that may be right for you, Fidelity has the free Fund Match Kit. You'll receive a step-by-step worksheet that helps you develop a personal plan, plus an easy-to-use workbook that explains the importance of diversification. So call Fidelity today for your free Fund Match Kit. Call 1-800-643-8585.
What did you eat this Labor Day weekend?
A couple of burgers Friday night, a couple of hot dogs at the game on Saturday, 2 tacos and some ice cream, some pancakes for Brian. Sure. You know, that's funny. I should have exploded about an hour ago.
If you kind of ate your way through the Labor Day weekend, start turning things around tomorrow with Kellogg's Special K cereal. Just 110 calories, not a speck of fat, yet those delicious, lightly toasted Special K flakes let your taste buds continue to enjoy. Start taking off what you took on this Labor Day weekend. Make tomorrow Special K Day.
For centuries, we've been rubbing stains out of clothes. Now it's easier. Introducing Spray and Wash Gel. Finally, a stain remover with enzymes and a fabric-safe brush that removes those stains that can ruin clothes. New Spray and Wash Gel gets out what America gets into.
Don't you just love Labor Day? You know, the president's gone, Congress is gone, everybody else is at the pool. You know that.
And we're here broadcasting to all 3 people watching.
It's spooky. You have a feeling like nobody's watching. Flip, how do you feel about it?
I don't know, but our executives are just wild about you guys with that kind of a lead-in. They just think that's just great. Listen, you think you've got troubles. We're trying to help out the holiday travelers with any bad weather that might be out there. That is the focus of our weather forecasting today here on this holiday, and we can't find any bad weather to make a big deal out of, so we're having a real tough time with it. There is a low-pressure center off the northeast here, and that's just skimming along the coast here. You may have seen the president's speech earlier, and you can see the drizzly rainfall. It's quite windy in here, too, with this strong low-pressure center here. That's not going to move away. The other area of rainfall is along a cold front that's coming down through the Midwest, right through this region here. Picnics might be rained out today in places like Kentucky, maybe parts of Tennessee. Back into Oklahoma, there's been quite a bit of rain and a pretty good line of thunderstorms has developed down in here. Those of you traveling along Interstate 40 today might have a few problems. There are a few other places in here, but I don't think we're going to see any big problems today. I don't think we're looking at any severe weather today. Here's the area of rainfall on the cold front pushing to the south. Boy, our line of thunderstorms here in Oklahoma, even that has died down a little bit now. I do think this will become more active as we move through the late afternoon hours. Here you can see that area of low pressure and the rainfall associated with it here in the northeast. The far west remains very warm, little change in the weather there. This is the region of rainfall that tonight, if you have to travel through this area right here, you might want to leave a little bit early, or more importantly, if you're waiting for someone who might be driving through this area, you might want to give them a little extra time because of the rainfall that will be scattered about as this cold front continues to push to the south. Quite cool temperatures behind it, and that's going to continue to be the case as the frontal system continues to lag into the southeast. And by tomorrow, we could see some heavy thunderstorms in here. Right now, take a look at specific forecasts for cities around the nation and Canada for the day after Labor Day. Now back to Lou Waters.
Okay, Flip, thanks. Along with the prospects of a new baby comes a mixed bag, joy, and sometimes morning sickness. There appears to be no ready cure, only advice from those who have been there, and they suggest eating dry crackers, among other things. Liz Weiss has our food and health report.
Carol Korbman had the nose of a hound dog when she was suffering from morning sickness.
She would be upstairs and I would be in the kitchen throwing something into the garbage can. And she would start yelling, "Are you opening the trash can? from upstairs, I mean, it was really unbelievable.
According to registered dietitian Miriam Eric of Boston's Brigham and Women's Hospital, even the most common odors like coffee and cologne can drive a pregnant woman over the edge.
If there are smells in your background that make you nauseous, you don't eat, you don't drink, and life becomes pretty miserable.
After interviewing hundreds of women with morning sickness, Eric recommends sniffing a lemon to snuff out nasty odors.
Most of my patients agree that lemons, although it may sound bizarre, actually perk them up, make them feel better.
Lemons helped Amy Dunlap, who had morning sickness with both pregnancies, all day long for 9 months.
It was a soothing smell. Miriam told me to try, and I kind of laughed at her, and I said, a lemon, you know, I can just see it, and it worked.
Now, if lemons don't do the trick, other tips include asking friends not to wear perfume or cologne, take a walk in the fresh air, and keep away from the coffee pot or the company cafeteria if the smells make you sick. Now, once a pregnant woman with morning sickness gets her nose under control, it's time to think of her stomach. While most women are told to eat dry crackers to control their nausea, believe it or not, potato chips and other salty snack foods may bring even more relief. In other words, munching on junk food may be okay for the short term.
If potato chips and ice cream sundaes keep food down, you're hydrated, you get calories, you should forget about the guilt. Just feeling better is really important, the first focus.
Tostado chips and hot sauce, I wanted that, and everyone thought I was crazy.
Apples, lots of apples, which I never liked before. I really ate 5 apples a day.
So the next time a pregnant woman with morning sickness craves pickles and ice cream, it could be just what she needs to settle her stomach. Liz Weiss for CNN in Boston.
And just when you thought everything was going to pot, Jeannie Most comes up with something to flush your troubles away.
We'll get a handle on an old controversy between man and woman in just a moment.
What you are about to see may cause you never to eat meat again. Because here's a line of meatless foods from Morningstar Farms that's absolutely delicious, like grillers. All the juicy taste of a backyard barbecue, yet 100% meatless and half the fat of hamburger. Because grillers is made from a delicious blend of vegetable and grain protein. Once you try them, along with our other meatless foods, you may never eat meat again. Morningstar Farms, more ways to enjoy meat less.
Do you question your bladder control protection? The answer is new technology from Attens that you can sample for free.
What makes it so new?
Only new Attens has perma-dry fibers woven in to absorb faster.
Really?
To see for yourself, call 1-800-ATTENS now for a free sample by mail.
Do you have the right kind of protection for me?
Ask for a pad, guard, undergarment, or brief. We'll help you choose the right size.
Great.
Call for a free sample today and look for Attens in the store.
Oh my gosh, and I don't feel good. And here I am in my old house coat.
If our winners look surprised,
I don't believe it.
it's because they are.
You have got to be. Could you come here?
We don't tell them we're coming.
You have got to be kidding.
We just knock on their door.
You have got to be kidding.
It's like a surprise party on your doorstep.
I'm speechless, and I'm not usually speechless.
We're the Prize Patrol from Publishers Clearinghouse, and we could surprise you next.
Just think, a whole week at the lake.
And it's allergy season.
All that fishing.
All that ragweed.
Spring in the air.
Water in my eyes.
Awake with the sun.
Awake with sinus pain.
Need strong allergy relief that's better than the leading prescription? A new study shows it's Tylenol Allergy Sinus.
Hey, maybe we can stay an extra week.
Tylenol Allergy Sinus. Better relief than the leading prescription.
All my life was a paper.
A lifetime of dreams.
Once plain, pure, and white.
A lifetime of color.
Till you moved with your brush and with your special touch made the colors just right.
Decorate your life with color. See your Benjamin Moore dealer.
Decorating my life.
Benjamin Moore, a stroke of brilliance.
You decorated my life.
Tonight in the Crossfire. It was the movie sensation of the summer, but does it go beyond that? Forrest Gump, an icon of the radical 60s, or a closet conservative? Buchanan, Hensley, Crossfire, tonight 7:30 Eastern on CNN.
For some couples, you may have noticed this, keeping the peace at home is merely a matter of bathroom etiquette.
Jeannie Mose gets to the seat of the problem.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. That's if you can find one with the seat down. Why don't guys put the seat down?
They're probably thinking of other things.
I don't know why you guys make such a big deal about the seat all the time.
So that when we go in the middle of the night, we don't fall into a cold bowl.
Tracy Sofrin is an expert. She's the manager at Cantor's showroom, where a state-of-the-art toilet is aimed at ending the state of war between the sexes.
It's called the Peacekeeper.
This is what the Peacekeeper doesn't have, a handle for flushing. The way you flush the Peacekeeper is to put the lid down, which means guys can't leave the seat up.
In my family, I'm the one who moves the seat, and I just get really angry.
So take the plunge. Try a Peacekeeper. A magnetic sensor in the tank flushes the toilet when the magnet in the lid is moved away. It runs on batteries, but you might have to leave instructions on your Peacekeeper. Even a plumber working on one couldn't figure out how to flush it. Well, you're getting warm. Oh, you're getting real warm. How long you been a plumber? And that's when he triggered the Peacekeeper. We traveled to Block Drug Company labs where they test products such as 2,000 flushes.
I think men get a real bum rap in putting toilet seats down. I think we do it more than people say that we do. Okay, and I think it's a myth.
Do you think guys have gotten a bum rap, or, I mean,
Is that a pun?
Do you think guys have been getting a kind of unfair shake? Well, that's a bad pun, too.
There you go.
The Peacekeeper is manufactured by Kohler, whose product manager says...
So we thought we'd try to put an end to that problem and side with the ladies.
But the piece may be hard to keep when couples hear the price. Add $100 to Kohler's $350 to $850 toilets. This seat beep is a lot cheaper for $4. It beeps when the seat is left up for more than 60 seconds. Once women figure out how to flush the Peacekeeper...
Is it in here?
No. They seem genuinely delighted.
I think that's a dirty pool.
Why?
I don't know. It just doesn't seem fair. That's our only sense of independence that we have left, is leaving the seat up.
Besides, men say of women...
But they got their revenge because they put up the fuzzy toilet seats.
And men could still disarm the Peacekeeper by putting the seat down to flush and then putting it back up. Jeannie Mose, CNN, New York.
Just what the world needs, a beeping toilet seat.
Something tells me the controversy continues.
I think so.
That's Newsday. We'll see you later. I'm Natalie Allen.
I'm Lou Waters.
Now's the time to speak out, America, and let your voice be heard. I'm Susan Rook. Join me for Talk Back Live, weekdays, 1 Eastern on CNN.